Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Carly and Convo. We are with X Factor's Sam Callahan today.
How's it going? You all right?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Thanks for having me.
I didn't quite read that countdown then, so I had no idea when we were about to go. But we're here today. So yeah, how are you? What have you been up to lately?
Lots. I'm a bit older than I was on X Factor, not much wiser. But I'm doing I race cars now, which is completely different to what a lot of people know me for.
Yeah.
And I do lots of other things, personal training. I still do my music, and I've just released a single called Little One about my little niece, Molly. So
that's what I was going to say. I saw there was new music, which is very exciting. So you'll have to let us know. Is it out now?
Yeah, it's out now. Yeah, you can get it on.
Right, and I did see there were some really cute pictures. That must have been your niece on your Instagram. So I was wondering what relation that was. So yeah, I've seen that. But yeah, major career U-turn by the looks of things with the whole car racing. How did that go from? You're still singing, which is great, which the fans obviously obsessed with. But how do we go from singing to cars? Was that kind of always in the background?
Kind of. So I mean, since I was a child, I've always been into motorsport. I did go-karting and motocross as a kid. My dad has raced cars since like before I was born, and you know I obviously kind of get it from him. But yeah, so I've always been doing the music, and I did a little bit of personal training. But in the background, as a hobby, I was racing as an amateur, and just kind of taking part in some club level races and stuff with my dad, which was good. And I started winning a lot. And this year,
which is always good.
Yeah, exactly. So this year I've kind of thrown myself into it, and I'm doing my first round this week in a pro series at Brands Hatch. So really looking forward to it.
So how much time do we dedicate to singing now and music stuff?
It's a tough balance. I mean, like for me at the moment, the way that motorsport's going, it's really taking a lot of my focus. And I'm already supporting the British Touring Car Championship, which is, massively high level of motorsport. So it's something that I definitely want to pursue. But balancing everything that I do has always been a tricky thing. I think as a multifaceted, like multi-passionate person, like you have lots of different things you want to do, and I'm not very good at compromising. I just kind of want to go, well, I'm going to do them all.
No, I love that. I'm here for that, and that's what I mean. The fans are still happy. You're still happy. A little bit of everything going on. I was doing a little bit of research, as I told you in backstage, but I found out that you were actually working with Jerry Halliwell, so Real Life Spice Girls, before X Factor even happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So
that's wild. As a Spice Girls fan, how was that? Was she nice to work with, or
she's crazy? I'll tell you that much. So I basically came out of school at 16, and I went and auditioned for some vocational colleges because I was into my music and musical theatre and stuff, performing. And I got a couple of scholarships to different colleges, but at the same time I got into this band. And it was managed by Jerry Halliwell and Simon Fuller. So Simon Fuller is the one that managed it and created the Spice Girls. So it kind of had some big credentials and stuff behind it. But I think the plans and the excitement, especially at 16 years old, all sounded a lot better than it necessarily was. And I went for it, and I gave up the college scholarships and went and joined this band. And I was in it for I think 3 years or 2 years. We recorded a lot of songs, had a lot of different names for the band, did a lot of rehearsals, but didn't really perform anywhere. And I think it was at the point, the biggest gig we did was at like Bluebell, who is Jerry's daughter's birthday party. And I was like, okay, I got to go and do something on my own here because this isn't really going anywhere. So it was actually me that jumped ship. But Jerry, as an individual, is extremely interesting to work with.
I bet. But I love that you still performed at her daughter's birthday party. But yeah, if that was the pinnacle of where you go, then no.
Well, after you kind of get sold the dream, I think performing at a 4-year-old's birthday party is it's not ideal.
What made it interesting to work with? Would you say, looking back, obviously that was even longer than X Factor now.
A lot of things. So I remember in one instance, bear in mind I was a 16-year-old teenage boy. We turned up to the house. So we used to rehearse at Jerry's house. We turned up to the house and we all kind of walked in. We were let in by her PA. And we're all sort of wandering around like, where is Jerry? Like, we're supposed to be having a rehearsal. And so I've wandered around and she was just in her underwear and was like, giving me a big hug. And as a teenage boy, I was like, oh my God. So that was interesting. But yeah, no, she's just, I think she's extremely creative. She has always needed like a PA that kind of balances her out. I remember that because she would get an idea and run with it, and it ain't always necessarily a great idea. So somebody who balances her out to go, okay, hang on, but think about this. But yeah, so you know, it definitely made for interesting management, but
definitely.
in the end, it didn't have the longevity we hoped for.
Well, I loved how you just say, as a teenage boy, you were like that. I think anyone in the whole entire world to see a Spice Girl in their underwear would be going absolutely crazy on the side. So I don't blame you there. But looking back at X Factor, I think if my maths was right, which I never really do trust, but 9 years is what I got as a calculation as when you were on the show. So how does it feel like it's been that long? Has it gone quick or?
It feels like another lifetime, if I'm honest. Like in a way, it feels like yesterday. But like when I really sit and think about it, but in a way, so much has happened, and I, as an individual, have changed so much since I was on the show. That I think it does feel like it's been a while now.
How do you feel when you look back on that kind of time in your life? Because I watched that series for sure. I remember watching it, and I think you might have got my vote because I think you were the kind of girl's crush of the series. So
thank you. I mean, looking back on it, like it's hard because in the first instance, it's given me a career for the last 9 years, you know, and I bought my house and I've traveled all over the world and performed, and I've had, you know, all the goals that I kind of set out for myself, doing UK tours and performing globally, having top 40 hits and bits and bobs. Like, I've done all those things, and you know, I'm still only 27, well, actually 28 tomorrow. So, thank you. But so, you know, those things are great. It does kind of come at a cost though, because there's a lot. There you go. There's a lot that you go through being on that show that I think a lot of the audience don't necessarily know about. Some of it I've not been too shy about talking about before in the press, as you know. I'm sure something will come up in a minute. But so I think, you know, at the end of the day, like, it does come at a cost. There are some really tough things that come with being on the show. And just to be honest, being like thrust into the limelight, being, you know, doing that overnight is not necessarily natural, you know. So
I mean, going from small time just knowing Jerry to millions of people knowing you are on TV Saturday night prime time.
Small time just knowing Jerry is a strange sentence in itself, but yeah.
But no, definitely. I know, as you said, you've spoken about quite a few things before, even with us, I think, as a Daily Star.
Yeah.
You said it's kind of been open about your mental health on the show. How do you think that kind of affects you as a teenager going on, would you say?
So obviously I was 19 on the show, so just coming into my 20s, but I think at the time on the show, I was better off when I wasn't with my family, when I didn't see people, because me as a person, if I'm hurting or I'm struggling with something, if I don't see people I care about and they try and console me or hug me or something,
it makes you worse.
Yeah, 100%. But I was getting on with things well. Some of the stuff that happened to me on the show and on the tour definitely took a toll, but I like to think kind of I dealt with it and it gave me a sort of a thicker skin. I think for me, the stuff that really challenged my mental health was after the show. Just some of the stuff that comes with being in the limelight, invasion of privacy, you know, being, just some nasty stuff that people in the world are mean, to be honest. So when you put yourself out into the public eye, it comes with some difficulties that I faced. So that for me was the hardest
form of like online abuse kind of vibe with, is that
so you get some of that. I got a lot of hate, a hell of a lot. in person and on social media. I once got punched in a bar just for being Sam off X Factor.
That's vile.
Give me a black eye. I've also, I've been catfished and set up. Like that was tough. That really rocked me because I spend my life trying to sort of make the family proud and the people that I love. So that was a tough time.
What happened with the catfishing thing?
I spoke to someone for a long time on Twitter who had a verified tip, told me they were a reality star in the US, got really close to them, and then they started to, try and get a bit more intimate with me online and stuff, and succeeded too. And then, deactivated the profile. What they were doing, it turned out to be an organization of people, a group of people, doing it to lots of different celebrities at the time, who then they sold the video on. When the video stopped selling, they put it out to the press. So, massive invasion of privacy. Now,
not ideal.
Well, now it's a crime. It's known as revenge porn, which nowadays you can get 2 years in prison for minimum. So, but it wasn't then, and they got away with it. So that was really tough.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful. I'll give them a punch for you if I ever see you. So you just mentioned things went on tour. What was the kind of things that were difficult for you on the show and on tour that kind of stand out?
So on the show, there was some really difficult things with regards to personal choice, being able to choose my own songs and stuff like that. I had a 6-hour argument with the music team, who they tell everybody else, Sam's chose this song this week or whatever, and they say you can pick 8 songs and we'll pick from those. So I picked 8 songs that fit the genre of that week. Got there and they were like, yeah, we're not doing any of them, you can have one of these 2. And both of the songs didn't suit me. As a musician, as somebody going on that show, I'd been performing for years before I went on that show. I know myself. I know, what I can do as an artist and what suits me. And so I said, look, I've picked all of these. At least choose one of them. They were like, no, you're going to choose from these 2. So that went on for ages. And I ended up singing songs I didn't want to do. Felt very uncomfortable. And a lot of the way that they run it. So, for example, when I finally got allowed to use my guitar, they ran a VT, so a little video before you are shown on screen performing, on the screen at the back. So that's what the VT is. And they showed a VT of them saying to me, if you use your guitar, it is down to you, and it is, sort of be on your head. And in all the rehearsals, I'd had these in-ears in. So the in-ears have a metronome to keep you in time with the music, because there's a backing track and the guitar. I'd had the metronome, working absolutely fine throughout the whole rehearsal period. All of a sudden, Saturday night, 12 million people watching, no metronome. I'm out of time. So at the end of the song, Gary Barlow turns around to me and said, we did warn you not to use your guitar, and you were out of time. And I was like, do you know what I mean? So
that feels a bit like sabotage kind of vibe.
That's your words, not mine.
But as you said, you've been performing with a guitar for years. That's your jam. That's your thing. And then that seems a little bit, fixie type.
Yeah,
I would be very angry. So if you got frustrated,
that way, doesn't it? It does seem that way. I don't know. Yeah. So it was. Those are the things that you're dealing with. I think it's a difficult situation. There's plenty of situations on the show that were difficult. I had an argument with my mentor,
Louis, right?
Yeah. Who? Yeah. I don't know what I should. Basically, told me to F off and mentor myself. And that was because he'd been being negative to me for 3 days, solid. And I was like, my whole thing is PMA. I'm all about, being positive and law of attraction. And that's my thing is, some people believe in it, some people don't. But for me, that worked. And he'd been really negative. And I was like, Lou, okay, I get it. I've got to be prepared to sing for my spot and everything else. But I need to get in the zone. And he went on and on and on and on. And I went and I didn't go out. He kept telling me that I was going to go out, was what he was saying. He was like, "You're going out this week."
You don't want to hear that.
And also, how does he know that? Like, you don't know that. That's not there's a public vote, so you shouldn't know that. And then at the end, he didn't know that because I didn't go out. And then I went and spoke to him about it and said, like, I really can't deal with like the way that you were handling this and talking to me this week. And he told me to F off and mentor myself, which, yeah.
Did that ever get resolved between you two, or?
He apologised, but basically I went back into the canteen where all my family were, because after the show, that's where everyone hangs out. I went and spoke to my family. I was in tears because obviously it was a very emotional. It was a time, and I was very highly strung at the time with everything going on. My dad was going to pull me off the show, and we had to go and speak to Richard Holloway, who runs the show behind the scenes and stuff. And he was like, "I will get like Louis to come and talk to you," and Louis come and apologised. I'm not sure how sincere it was, but that's fine. So yeah, I'm just telling.
Well, yeah, but after that, I would
not
want to work with that person at all, let alone be on their team.
I think my fear at the time was that there were still two other boys. You know, the two other boys in my category were still in the show, and the way that I saw it was, I think, you know, if it comes down to it, my own judge will choose one of them over me.
Yeah.
Quite happily. So that was the thing that worried me at the time. And then I went on the X Factor tour, and I have spoken about this in the public, so I don't mind talking about this. We were backstage in Manchester, and I was laying on a sofa with my then girlfriend, Tamira, who was on the show as well, and I threw a sweet at a band member because we were all mucking around and having a laugh, and I thought we were still having a laugh. I thought we were all friends. And he stood up, he was like, "What would you do if I boxed you right now?" And I was like, "Box you back?" I was like, "I don't like." And I just kind of didn't think that anything was going to happen. He walked over to me behind the sofa and he asked me again. And I said, "I'd box you back." And he leant over the sofa and absolutely kicked my head in. So I had a dislocated jaw. I had damage, not permanent, but temporary damage to my eardrum. 2 black eyes, bridge of my nose was bruised. So
did the show do anything about that? Because that was absolutely horrific. I mean, you're their talent. Is this just someone who plays the band, like live band kind of thing? Is that, or is this another contestant?
No, it was a contestant. It was a contestant in a band. But they threw him off. The rest of his bandmates were still on the tour. Again, a real hard time for the rest of the tour because he'd left. And then they were allowed to host the after tour party, including him. And when I turned up to the party, I was told by the security at the party that I need to leave.
So I feel like not only were you bullied kind of by producers, your mentor, but also other contestants.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a rough time. Like, at the end of the day, I do think it's made me stronger.
Yeah.
The show is not on anymore. It's one of those things. I'm a big boy, and I've got through it, and I'm quite a happy man now. Do you know what I mean? I'll be 30 in a couple of years. Like, it's not affecting me. But it is strange to talk about because at the time, obviously, it affected me. My family cared about it. It was my career at the time. It was everything I was.
The whole world probably at the time, though, isn't it? Because it's so
everything I was trying to work for. Oh, there's me half naked. So yeah, like it is what it is. I went through it. It was tough. I think that if you're going to go on shows like that, you need to know really that they ain't as plain sailing as maybe they're shown to be on television.
Yeah. And I guess you've probably definitely got a thicker skin after all that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, all I can say is sorry about that. Obviously, as a viewer at home, all we're seeing is Sam on stage, smashing it, smiling when he's talking to Dermot or whatever, and then going on to have like a big fan base. So obviously, as I was probably a lot younger growing up before I knew the whole world of the journalism industry, you don't know. You're never aware.
But it's like I say, so it is a bittersweet situation because as tough as it was, and I'm sure, in fact, I'm 100% sure, and I know that not everybody has that same experience. I don't know why I had it, but I did. But on the other hand, it is bittersweet because I have had the most amazing experiences of my life from being off the back of that show, and I'm grateful for that. You know, so
of course. And I think that topless photo was another point that we were going to bring up, that you were pressured to kind of take your clothes off on the program, which I thought was quite strange. If you want to do that, like Chico, love doing it, that's fine. But I think you've spoken about like you sometimes kind of weren't comfortable in doing so. Although I will say we all thought you looked amazing, but obviously in yourself, if you're not comfortable doing so, that's completely.
Do you know what? It wasn't that I was uncomfortable. I think that's the wrong word. I felt comfortable. I'm not shy. I think that the situation was that I felt that there were other people there being shown for their talents that they were trying to be there for, and everything started to be about the kid with the abs, which okay, there's worse things to be known for, but at the end of the day, that's not why I was there. And I think, sorry, product placement. I think that at the time it was just annoying me because I think that it was one thing on top of a few things as well that wound me up. But I knew that they're trying to play on it, and I also thought that whilst it might be beneficial and people will like it, there will also be a lot of people, and I would probably be one of them, that will watch that person on that show always taking a shirt off and be like, "Get him off!" And that wasn't down to me. It wasn't me going, "Oh, I want to take my shirt off all the time." Like that wasn't how it was. So yeah.
No, of course. But you did clash with Gary a lot. I was looking back and he was just quite mean to you. But I did find it absolutely hilarious, which will point out that you got blocked on Twitter by him.
Yes, I did.
Are you still blocked? Do you know if you're still blocked?
I blocked him back. I don't know if that... I think I was just like, what, screw you. So I don't know.
Yeah, we do have a picture of the hilarious tweet. So for people watching and who catch up on this, it was Gary's birthday and Sam thought, I'm going to flag up X kind of racy snap of Gary from his Take That Heyday and pair it with his own, which I thought was funny. Why would you not laugh at that? Why?
I think it was funny.
What can he take offence to?
That is a great tweet.
Did you ever hear anything from him ever since? Have you bumped into him or kind of been anywhere similar?
I really haven't. No, I have no idea what is. He probably wouldn't care now, but I don't know. I
don't know why he took it so serious. Come on, Gary. Jesus Christ. Give us a smile. His birthday. So why do you think he was so mean? Because obviously, I guess Simon wasn't there for your series, who was at the time TV's kind of Mr. Nasty, even though Simon's got a little bit softer over the years. Do you think he was kind of just trying to play Simon's role, step into his shoes, maybe?
I think so. So the way I see it is that shows like X Factor have to be a bit of a pantomime, and each judge has to be a character. And I think we didn't have Simon, so Gary was given the role of being Simon or being that character, the bad guy. There was a couple of times I think he's asked to say certain things for different contestants. I don't know how much say he has in what exactly what he says. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But I know that there was one week where I think he couldn't really fault what I'd done, and he had a sheet, and I don't know what was on the sheet, but he turned it over and just went, "Looked like you had fun up there," and that was it. And everyone was like, "What? Like, is that it?" Like, it was really strange. So, the rest of the time he was pretty brutal to me when he was on the panel. But it was the thing that was interesting to me was that backstage, like, we were fine. We had a little jam at one point with my guitar. It was when we got on the cameras that things were a little bit different, and I was like, okay.
Do you think it's just the persona? Is Gary really that mean in real life, or do you think it was just staged TV screen Gary that had to play that?
Yeah, I think he plays on it.
Yeah, I guess as you say, is each judge kind of had a little character that they had to do and had to play. How did you find the others, the two ladies in the middle here?
Sharon, it was probably my favorite judge. She used to call me I don't know if I can say it on here. Can I say it?
What word is it? What does it begin with?
S.
Yeah.
She used to call me. She used to be like, "All right, you little shit," and I loved that. I don't know. I thought that was quite cool. Like it was funny that Sharon Osbourne was calling me a little shit. But yeah, I mean, the rest of them, if I'm honest, like you don't have as much to do with the judges as I think people perceive.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sharon was my favorite of the four.
Yeah, she's a little bit of an icon, isn't she? She is quite funny. So over the years, obviously, you've been linked to a lot of lovely ladies. So what the fans will want to know is, are you single now? Is there anyone on the scene?
Yes.
There is someone, or there isn't someone?
No, I'm single.
You are single. Are you looking?
I mean, I'm just going with the flow. I'm quite happy being me. But yeah, I mean, if I meet someone that's the right person, then
Would you want someone to rather be in the limelight, or do you sort of want us kind of out of the? No.
Absolutely not. No, if I'm honest with you, I stopped going to. We used to do a lot of like PR events and stuff. And I'm probably going to throw shade at so many people here, but I don't care. I stopped going for the reason that I feel they're very toxic, and a lot of the people. There are some lovely people that go there. Don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of people go there like it's very like hungry, fame hungry and stuff, and I'm not. Like, it's kind of the same reason that I didn't like taking my shirt off on X Factor and stuff. Is I went and did X Factor because I'm a singer, and because I like music and I wanted to be a singer. And I did a lot of PR. Don't get me wrong. After the X Factor, when I was with a certain PR company that was not music related, but I stopped with them. I stopped with the PR events and everything, and the main reason was because I just felt it was all very fake. And yeah, so I kind of think that I'm a bit older. I've got some different morals and values and whatever, and I think that going forwards I just rather avoid that
out of the well, as you said, over the years you've had your privacy kind of invaded a little bit more, so it's a bit understanding if you want to take things and keep that to yourself.
Yeah, and I think that don't get me wrong, there might be somebody that's in the limelight that's lovely and that isn't necessarily toxic. Or there's plenty of people that like that, but I think being asked the question, my answer would be probably someone else.
Well, looking back at your time on the X Factor, you were linked to Mirror. Was that something that the producers egged on? Because they do kind of want storylines. That's what I was going to wonder, if it was kind of you two authentically.
No, that was real. That was real. It was definitely a pressure cooker environment that we were in, and I think had we been on the outside, I don't know if we would have necessarily got together. But we did go out for a long time, and I think that was genuine.
And then obviously you had a big fan base. Women were going wild. You had all the young girls who loved you. Did you have any crazy fan stories that maybe went a little bit far? Did you get any stalkers over the years?
I remember being on the X Factor tour in I want to say Dublin, and I was staying in a room with Tamira, and was woken up by banging on the door about 4 a.m. and it was a teenage girl at the front, and I opened the door. She just cried, and I was like, "What do I do?"
Oh my god!
I was like,
how did you find your room?
Well, so there was security downstairs, so they were supposed to stop anyone because there was people trying to get in anyway, but they stopped most of them. But obviously, this girl managed to get in somehow, and she no idea how she found my room. No idea.
God! Well, I'm glad. I hope they took her away and put her back to her parents.
I mean, she might have been banging on everyone's door, just waiting to find us. But yeah, weird.
But you also mentioned you had some men maybe throw themselves at you, but not in that way. They were throwing fists in that bar fight, which I read about.
In both senses, but yeah.
Yeah, not surprised there. But here's a picture from that. How did that affect you? Because that is brutal. You're just going about your day, trying to have a laugh with your friends, and then that just come in. And
that was actually, I was on a night out. and we were at a bar in Reading, and on a VIP table, and somebody had a pop at me, and we tried to leave, and my friends went one way, and I was walking back, and they followed me and jumped me. So yeah, I didn't win that one.
Did that affect you wanting to go out for a little bit? Because I'd probably stay inside. I wouldn't want to put myself.
No, I have got that scar on my head, but no, I don't think so. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't nice. It's not ideal. And some people probably would. But it didn't affect me in that way. I just think it's not what you want.
No. Oh. Boo to them, boo to them. So another person that may have caught your eye on the show, bless her heart, the late Callahan Flack. How did you find Caroline when you were on the show? Bless her.
Absolutely loved Callahan Flack. Yeah, that was a strange day. Yeah, no. So I actually had a really good relationship with Caroline. We had a lot of banter. She'd come around in the sort of the foyer area where we used to hang, and kind of just chill with us a lot of the time. I think she felt she was more sort of part of us than she was one of the crew, if you like. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. She was really cool. We when we were on X Factor, we did a couple of nights out. We did the lads' night out, but she came, and then there was one other. Oh no, there's a couple of. So we did like a couple of premieres, film premieres and stuff, like events, and she was at them. So you do kind of get quite close to people when you're going through something like that. And yeah, it's sad because she was a real firecracker, like, you know, real sort of life of the party.
Yeah, bless her. Would you want to do any more TV work, or is the X Factor kind of put you off?
Depends what it is. I think, as you can tell by this interview, if I did, I'd be dead honest with the camera, with the people. I don't know if that might limit me slightly nowadays. But I think if I did, it would have to be the right thing, and it would have to be me being me for me, if you know what I mean. You know, I'm not going to pretend for anybody.
Don't need to. The real you's great, Sam. We don't want any fakeness. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Just quick fire round before we go. Who is the rudest celeb you've ever met? This is what I've been asking some of the X Factor people through their time.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you know what?
Apart from Gary, maybe.
About that. Yeah, I wish I'd had more time to think about that. No, because Gary, I'm not sure, like we said in our conversation, I'm not sure how legit that was.
Yeah.
But I've never really, or I wouldn't call him a celebrity now, but the guy that was on the X Factor that punched me and dislocated my jaw, I'd say that was probably pretty rude.
Who was that? I didn't know if I felt too scared to ask you earlier.
It was a band called Rough Copy.
Right. Okay.
And they aren't together anymore. And but yeah,
right. Fair enough. That is pretty rude.
Single the guy out because it was a long time ago. So that
Most embarrassing kind of moment since you've been famous as such. Any sort of things of any bumping into any other celebs? Have you fell over? Have you forgot something? Or
I've fallen off stage countless times. I don't know why I made a habit of that at one point. So that's happened a lot. I think there's been some interesting images come out from pap shots and bits and bobs. So I mean, take your pick, really. There's been plenty. I do remember having a good argument with Gemma Collins about a parking space. That was fun.
What? I need to know more. About
so I live in Brentwood in Essex, which obviously is like Towie land. And she used to have a shop on the high street that I used to park around the back of because it's next to my where my apartment was. And one day I parked there and she was just like, "You can't park here." And I was like, "Yes, I can." And she was like, "This is my car park." I was like, "Right, this is nobody's car. This is the council's car park. You can't call this your car park, Gemma. You can have that space. I'm not going to park in your space, but do one, basically." But yeah, we had a little barney about it and just really made me laugh. I remember walking away and being like, "I'll just hang around with Gemma Collins."
Was that your first encounter with the GC?
No, I knew her. I think, you know, on X Factor and stuff, you you meet lots of these people on, like I say, PR events and bits and bobs that you do. And actually, the Tower lot came to watch the show when I was on it, so I think I met them there as well. But yeah, she was much nicer the first time when I wasn't parked somewhere she didn't like. But
yeah, I don't think I'd want to get. I love her, but I don't think I'd want to get on the wrong side of her. No way. So you're brave. You're brave for doing that.
Yeah.
And last one. What's the biggest sort of career regret that kind of stands out to you?
Probably doing too much of the fake stuff. You right down there? I think doing too much of the fake stuff. I think it's a learning curve. You know, you go into this scene or this world or industry or whatever, and at the end of the day, you got to run it as you can. And you don't get a warm up, or you don't learn how to. You just learn as you go, and it's a difficult thing to navigate because at the same time you're being watched 24/7 by everybody. So there's a lot of there's some sort of minor mistakes I probably would have made along the way, but I wouldn't call them regrets because, like I say, I'm just learning. And actually, I'm really happy with where I am and my life and who I am. So yeah, well, I don't think you can blame you. You've got in 19, 10 and 20. Like, if I had my 19, 20 years on camera for the world to see, I think I'd be banished from everywhere and probably not get hired again. So I think you've done well. As you said, there's no learning. You've been thrust in the limelight, swallowed up, kind of learning as you go. So I think you're absolutely fine. And as you say, you're still doing music. You're still doing your passion right now. So yeah, we're all good. Is there anything else you want to add before we go? So we want to tune into the new song. Tune into the new song, and also if you're into it, I'm on ITV4 on Saturday, Sunday this week, doing my first round of the Janetta Super Cup, supporting the British Touring Car Championship. So if you like a bit of racing, that's what I'll be doing. Oh, brilliant. Well, good luck with that and the new music. And thanks so much for talking to me. It's been a pleasure, Sam. No worries. Thank you. Okay, see you later. See ya.